Welcome to video number 6 of our series, where you can learn how to build courage from chaos and live your best life. I'm Vanessa, and I'm here with Tom Campbell.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Tom.
Well, let's go.
All right. Today we are looking at fear. So why do we have it, and where does it come from, and how can we let go of fear? Can you talk to us about that, Tom?
I can.
Okay, cool.
Well, first the question, where does it come from?
Yes.
Why are we so fearful?
Right.
Well, we started out as just chips off the old block, individuated units of consciousness, piece of the larger conscious system, and we were all in a chat room. Okay, and everything was nice and cozy in that chat room. There wasn't a whole lot to fear, but there wasn't a whole lot to make us grow either. So we had all this potential from growth that was not actualized, and all this potential for fear that was not actualized. We really didn't have a lot pushing us one way or another. So we just kind of hung there in the middle with all of this potential and very little motion. So when we finally logged on to this virtual reality and found out that it was a terrifying place full of big animals with large teeth, other humanoids would steal your stuff. You had to eat. You had to find shelter. There was all kinds of things trying to kill you, besides critters, the weather and circumstances and other people. And so much was out trying to take your stuff and survive because they had your stuff, so they could survive better. There wasn't much to go around, I guess. And there was a fair amount of competition for it eventually once we got enough of us that we got in each other's way. As long as there's just a few people spread over a lot of space, then there's not a lot of conflict. But eventually that's not the case.
Right.
People tend to have babies and they grow and there's more and more of them, and then pretty soon somebody's got to move someplace else because there's not enough resources left in that area. All the good things, all the really good caves have already been taken. The good ground for growing things has already been taken. The good places to fish have already been taken. So as we grow in numbers, then we start creating hostility toward each other. Just like we talked about, if you're in a reality based on fear, things get pretty hostile pretty quickly. So as this fear developed, just fear of having to stay alive, find something to eat, mate, have the children survive long enough to grow up and mate.
Right.
We had all of that. So these were hard choices. These weren't just get some information and process it and send some information back. These were really hard choices. And we developed a lot of emotional content. We developed a lot of fear around these choices because we had this drive to survive, drive to procreate.
So we developed a lot of fear. So
we had the potential for it all along, but we actualized it because we were in a place that was frightening, that was scary, that was demanding. We weren't used to that.
So rather than actualizing love, we actualized fear.
And the reason we did that is survival was scary. Because you could just say, well, okay, all of us here, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. We'll all just be friends and it'll be a nice place to be. Right, but somebody, if there were 5 of you, that worked really good. Maybe even 25 of you, that worked really good. But when there's 500 of you, there's somebody that says, yeah, while you're singing Kumbaya, I'm going to go into your cave and steal all your food and all your stuff, and it's going to be my stuff, and you can starve to death for all I care, because me and my family are going to have more food.
Right.
You see?
Okay.
So the reason that we tend to do that is that it's always a lot, I can do it 2 things. One, it's always a lot easier to destroy than it is to build. Building takes effort. Growing takes a lot of effort. De-evolving is easy. If you look at let's say you come to a fork in the road and you have to make a choice. There's probably only a few good choices. There's maybe one best choice, but there's a few good choices that you could make. But there's literally thousands of bad choices.
Yeah.
Thousands of things you can do wrong. So it's really easy to do things poorly,
Right.
and more difficult to do things well. Okay, so somebody says something that's very rude to you. Well, there's a few good things you could do. You could not be upset. You could ask them, well, how did you come to that opinion? Not, how did you come to that opinion, but one that was just, fine, just even.
Right.
You weren't upset.
Yeah.
And you could talk to them, and you could see, well, maybe they were just really upset for some other reasons. They're just taking stuff out on you, and that's okay. And you maybe give them a hug and walk on and do something else. And you help them grow up by that. Suddenly they spit out venom and they get a hug for it. It kind of just stops them in their tracks. They think about it a little bit. They're angry and all full of grrr, and somebody else is smiling and walking on, being happy, and now suddenly they want to be like you, because being happy and satisfied and having fun in life is a whole lot better than being snarling and upset.
Yeah.
So you help people grow up that way. So let's say you have a couple of choices. You could just walk away. You could just say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. So maybe the best thing is we should just not hang around each other. But it's okay with you.
Right.
You're not upset about it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's one. There's just a few of those things you could do. You could probably name them, on one hand, right?
Yeah.
Before you run out of new things.
Right.
But look at all the bad things you could do. You could scream. You could holler. You could get physical and punch them.
Yeah.
You could spit. You can
Turn everybody against them.
try to turn everybody against
Spread
them.
rumors about them.
There's just. We could just go on and on and on listing all the negative things you could do about it. You could let it get you angry. You could let it get you incensed. You could go into a rage.
You can go into depression.
You
get anxious.
depressed. You could cry. On and on, right?
Right.
So the point is, there's only a few good choices, and there's whole lots of bad choices. So it's always easier to destroy. You build something really wonderful. It may take you 5 years to build it, and somebody can trash it in 5 minutes. See, it's easy to destroy. So
that's
we see more destruction because it's easy. It's an easy choice. Well, we could all go out there and work real hard and hope that we find a better place to live, or we could just take over this guy's stuff and throw them out because we're bigger and stronger than they are.
Yeah.
You see, now there's the choice. Well, one of them's easy, the other one's hard.
Right.
So instead of doing the hard thing, that is really the better thing to do, you do the easy thing.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That's why we have
So then we started to de-evolve because we were actualizing our fear, because suddenly we got put in a place that wasn't a chat room and where our choices meant life or death, and we had this thing about living. We wanted to live, we wanted to survive, and that meant taking other people's stuff. At least that was the easiest way to survive, the surest way to survive. Instead of saying, well, they got their stuff, we'll just have to go out and find our own stuff. See, that would have been a harder but better choice. And then people could have grown up in communities to help each other rather than communities to fight each other. But it didn't work that way. So the easier choices were made first. So we de-evolve into fear because we had the potential to do both.
Right.
We were not tested either way.
Say that again? We were not tested?
We were not tested to become, in the chat room.
Oh.
We were not tested either way, to become love or to become fear. We were just there chit-chatting.
So we were mostly just awareness, kind of potential when we came here.
Right.
Wow.
We're just potential awareness. So we could go any way. But because there's so many ways to do it wrong and so few ways to do it right, what naturally happens is
we did it wrong.
we do it wrong because that's a lot easier. We take the easy way rather than do it the hard way. It's a harder choice to make. You say, yeah, these people have all that stuff. We'll have to go make our own. And it may be hard. And maybe we won't succeed. Maybe we won't make it. Maybe winter will come first and we'll all freeze to death. But maybe we'll find a place to get in, or maybe somebody will take us in. If you have that kind of attitude, then you'll probably find people who will take you in and help you out. But if you have an attitude that, what you want is to take stuff from somebody else because that's easier and quicker, nobody wants to take you in. Now you're a threat. So if you were kinder, you probably would do all right because of the kindness. But, you see, people don't want to probably do all right. They want to make sure they do all right.
Control, we want to
and
control.
And you can do that by taking whatever advantage you can.
Okay.
So we de-evolved first to the place that really was us. We had potential.
Okay.
So we de-evolved to this place where now we are in the warlord
reality. Our existence.
Yeah, our existence is like that.
Okay, so you've explained then why we have fear in this universe or in this game that we're playing, if you will. What is fear then, from a kind of consciousness perspective?
Well, fear is the opposite of love. Fear is high entropy. High entropy choices are fearful choices. High entropy goes with fear. So when you use fear, you're going to do things that are destructive of peace. You're going to do war. You're going to do things that are destructive of working together. You're going to have people trying to snipe at each other and take each other down so they can go up.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
So fear is basically a highly chaotic state.
Yes.
And love is a well-organized, efficient state. According to, at a fundamental level.
Yeah.
Okay, and that shows up in this reality as war, everybody fighting against each other, that's a fear.
Chaos. Yeah.
Chaos. And then love shows up in this reality as
cooperation, caring, compassion.
Right.
So one's about self. Fear, it's all about me. What can I get? How can I keep it? How can you help me? Not how can I help you?
Right.
What can I get?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to have an association with you, what's in it for me?
Yeah. And that's basically what we see in our world today. Is everybody's
it's self-centeredness.
Everybody's what's in it for me, what's in it for me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's just self-centeredness. So that is a low quality of consciousness.
That's a high high entropy state.
Entropy.
High entropy state, yeah.
More chaotic. It doesn't group. It doesn't cooperate. It doesn't build well. It's all me, and me doesn't build well in a social system, which is what consciousness makes. It's a social system.
And so it's each individual is in a high entropy state where they're chaotic. Inside they feel maybe restless or uncertain or inadequate.
Right. All that is high entropy.
And then they're always trying to fix that or feel better about themselves, so they're constantly self-focused.
So as we said before, if you don't feel well about yourself, then that's, if you feel bad about yourself, then that's high entropy. You're not real well coordinated. You're not really doing things well because you're always saying, oh, I can't do that or I won't be good enough. So it holds you down. It keeps you from blossoming. It keeps you from fulfilling your potential because you're fearful of making mistakes, of being wrong, of not being liked. All that keeps you from actually building yourself up. So you see, so it keeps you in the high entropy space.
Okay, so we've looked at now what is fear, which again you explained, high entropy, a highly chaotic state, and then how do we get fear? You explain that. Maybe let's emphasize before we close that the whole point of existence is to get rid of fear.
That is our purpose. That's the same thing as the whole purpose is to become love. It means the same thing. But one other thing we could say about fear is the larger conscious system itself. How did it get rid of fear? Because it started with just potential, just like we did. And it didn't really have a whole lot of things that would make it actualize that potential in any particular direction. And it made all those free will awareness units and made all those individuated units of consciousness who then made their own free will choices. And in the beginning, the larger conscious system was thinking that we have all these individuated units of consciousness, and they would all learn to cooperate and care and grow, and entropy would, whatever, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, experiment gone wrong.
So I'm going to build you this simulator, and now we're going to force you to make these choices. Well, they made a lot of bad choices. So the larger conscious system is thinking, what is up with you guys?
Right?
I put you here to care for each other and make good choices, and look what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're killing each other.
Yeah, like, don't you see how painful it is to make those choices? Yeah.
So the larger system says, well, listen, you're going to have to do what I tell you, right? You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to be nice. You're going to have to follow this code. You're going to have to act the way I tell you to act, because that's better.
Okay.
All right? And the little individuated units of consciousness, free will, go,
Yeah.
up yours, buddy.
Right.
I have free will. Okay, and the system says, I'll turn you into a pillar of salt. I'll destroy your whole tribe.
Right, right.
So the larger conscious system had to learn because of us. We were its teacher. It had to learn that by pushing us and bullying us and threatening us didn't work. It just made everything worse.
It actually tried to do that?
Sure. It hadn't. How could it get highly evolved if it wasn't challenged? It takes challenge. You have to have choices that are meaningful, choices with consequences. If it's just the master of its own little universe communicating, then it doesn't have a lot of heavy challenges in that. So when it saw the people and they were screwing everything up and weren't doing at all what they were supposed to do, it tried to force the situation around. It tried to be the leader and tell them what to do and how to do it. And it realized that whenever it did that, it just made everything worse.
Oh, so this is, like, what would that look like?
What it looked like is, if you go back into history, very early history, back in many years BC, you will find that in whatever culture you're in, that the gods tended to be angry gods. They tended to be jealous gods, jealous and to do what I tell you. I'm the one that's supposed to tell you what to do. Listen to me. And it's not so much that God needed to be praised as he needed the people to pay attention to him. You see, because he was going to tell them to be nice to each other, and they weren't doing that. They were saying, I want that cave full of food. I got a bunch of people here that are all my children and people in my family, and we don't know if we're going to starve to death or not, and that guy's got a lot of food, but there's only 10 of them, and there's 50 of us. It's easy. Just take it away from them, and then we'll do fine this winter, and they'll be dead. Or they'll have to go find something else if they run away.
Wow.
So they started making those decisions, and the system saying, oh, no, it's not the idea. You're de-evolving, like he made this in an entropy reduction trainer, and what they're all doing is
increasing the entropy, right? So it came in and was like, stop that. And so did it come as like in the clouds or whatever? Like,
could be.
Who knows, right?
Could be in the clouds, could be the burning bush.
That's funny.
Could be a monster, it could be any kinds of things.
But then it learned, okay, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. If you push these people, they just go the other way.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention.
Right.
Some do, but most don't. So it had to learn that the way to succeed is with love, with caring. You accept the people however they are and work with them. Deal with them the way they are. And it offered all kinds of little helpers that had good ideas. You got Krishna talking about, be nice. You got Buddha talking about love is the answer.
Jesus.
You got Jesus saying, love your brother.
Easy, love thyself.
Yeah, and on and on and on. You got all these people who are trying to lead people in that direction, but for the most part, it doesn't work very well. Because people are, what about me? Yeah, okay, that's nice, okay, but who's going to fix my meal tomorrow? I got to fix it myself. Well, that guy's got food.
Right. So it took us a long time.
It took us a long time.
It's taking us a long time.
But the system had to learn from its mistakes, just like we do.
Right.
And its entropy went down. Its entropy went up too, as it did that, and then it realized that all of that was dysfunctional. You got to accept people. You got to love them. You got to help them right where they are. You can't bully them. You can't force them. You can't intimidate them. You can't threaten them. All of that's dysfunctional. Most of us haven't learned that yet. We still think we can make our way in the world by being, intimidating and demanding and forcing things, forcing people to be the way we want them to be.
But we're slowly learning. Slowly but surely, we're learning. We're coming around. Yeah.
We are learning. We're making a lot of progress. Just look at the way things were 300 years ago. Life was really cheap. Back in the Dark Ages, life was really, really cheap. Didn't mean much at all. Back in the warlord days, the people on the bottom were dispensable.
Yeah. And we would never be like that today.
No, and we have our faults today.
We do,
but we're not there.
We're not nearly as bad as we were then. So that's pretty much the big picture of fear, what it is, why we have it, where it came from. And thank you, Tom, for taking the time to explain that and to share that with us. And thank you all for connecting with us. Make sure to join us next week where we talk about fear on an individual level and how do we get rid of that fear. All right, till then.